Hi everyone, Samara Renee here. I know it's been, 2 months since I last posted anything, and there's a reason for that. So I wanted to reiterate why I'm doing this. So the very first time I posted anything, I mentioned in the description somewhere that I'm in a good place mentally, emotionally, and I basically want to be there for those of you who are struggling the way I wish someone was there for me. Now, maybe at the time I felt that I was in a good place emotionally, mentally, and all that, but as of recently, I found out that I am not. So life basically gave me its ass to kiss, and I've been dealing with depression, struggling with it, battling it, whatever term you want to use. And I'm putting this out there because I know for a fact that there are so many people out there going through depression. They're struggling financially, struggling with family, friends, kids, whatever. And I'm sure, like me, you feel alone and no one understands you, no one hears you. Maybe you don't even want to talk to anyone. Maybe you want to just isolate yourself. And I'm not here to just, oh, woe is me. Life is so hard and, no one loves me. It's nothing like that. It's basically like, so I'm going through a lot and I'm just trying to put it out there that even though any of you are going through a lot, even though you feel heartbroken or abandoned, neglected, you can still fight forward. You can still move on. You can still heal. That's why I'm here. This is why I'm doing this, to show all of you that although I have some stuff that's going on with me, I'm still here. Sometimes I don't want to be here. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? If life ended today, cool. But I can't do that. I have two kids who need me. Even though I feel like they kind of don't, they do. So I just wanted to put that out there that I hear you. For those of you who's going through some stuff, whether it's the same as me, similar, the total opposite, I don't know, maybe worse. Maybe you're dealing with drug, alcohol addiction. I don't know. But the point of this is to keep fighting forward. Keep moving forward. Keep fighting. So, as I mentioned, I'm dealing with depression. So much so that it's been brought to my attention that maybe I should get a psych eval to be put on medication for it. No. Medication, it has never been something I was cool with. Just no. First of all, I have an addictive personality. That's number one. And I know this because, well, just caffeine. I used to drink caffeine religiously, 1 cup a day, every single day for, I want to say, when did I start? I started at 12 and then I stopped and then I started again around 13, 14, 24, 34. So 20 plus years I've been drinking caffeinated, coffee. And every time I wanted to stop, I went through bad withdrawal. And it would be 4 or 5 days of severe headaches, complete exhaustion, no focus, irritability, like anything you can think of. It's like, oh my God, life is awful. Where's my coffee? There's that. And then I want to say, what was this, 2 years ago? I was going through something and the doctor prescribed me pain medication. Surprisingly to me, it was Vicodin. I've never taken Vicodin a day in my life. So, but I know, I've heard of it. I know how strong it is. I know how people have gotten addicted to it. And so I was shocked. I'm used to ibuprofen at most 800 milligrams. I've never taken anything stronger than 800 milligrams of anything. So when I saw that, I'm like, I was hesitant, but I did take it because I didn't want to feel any pain. And I wondered to myself, how does one become addicted to painkillers? Because prior to my experience with Vicodin, I what do you call it? Lost my train of thought for a second. For pain medication, it would just make whatever pain I'm feeling go away. But that's it. I wouldn't feel nothing more, nothing less. So I always wondered, what is there to be addicted about? So here comes Vicodin. So I take it, and of course it kills the pain. But not only that, I felt the best high I've ever felt, like ever. I mean, I've experimented with marijuana, but boy, I've never felt so relaxed, and I was just so chill, and it felt so good to not worry, it was like I was on a cloud. I didn't have to think about nothing. I wasn't worried about nothing. I was just so chill. And guess what? I wanted more of it. So I had to discipline myself where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to take it unless I feel pain that I can't handle. Not just any pain that I can't handle. And so I took it for, I don't remember the amount they gave me, but I took it for, let's say, off and on a week. So when it got to the point where I didn't want it to finish because I'm like, kind of want to feel this high again. But like I said, I disciplined myself, and I was like, I'm not going to take it unless, absolutely necessary. And then one day I had this crazy back pain. I don't know where it came from. I woke up and bam, there it was. And I was taught, that, what do you call it? Vicks Vapor Rub helps with pain. So I'm sitting there rubbing Vicks on my back to make the pain go away. Boy, did that make it worse. I couldn't even move. I was like, oh my God, I'm basically, what's the word? I don't want to say cripple, paralyzed. I could not move. And I was like, oh my God, take the Vicodin. That's all I'm thinking to myself, like, take it. And I popped one in, and pain melted away within a few minutes. And then my boyfriend at the time came over, helped me out, whatever. But my point of all that is to say, look how easy it would have been for me to become addicted to Vicodin. Granted, that's a very strong medication. And keep in mind, I did try to get more from the doctor, but he declined. Thank God, by the way. I don't know how these depression medications are. I don't know if they're addicting. I mean, I've heard a couple of people take it and they're like, I only took it for X amount of time. I'm not on it now and I'm good. It works. It helps and all this stuff. And I'm considering it. But at the same time, I'm just like, I'm really trying to do this without this whole medication. I am in therapy, so that definitely helps. That, in addition to having two great friends, to talk to about my problems and to, vent and hear what's going on with them, to get my mind off of what's going on with me. All of that has been helping, but I do have my moments where it's like I have a great day or a great half a day, and then all of a sudden I'm just like crying because I'm constantly reflecting. So what I've been doing is trying to keep myself busy so I'm so preoccupied I can't think about these things. But guess what? There's going to be a time where your mind is idle, where you're not doing anything. You could just be watching TV and then all of a sudden you start reflecting. And here comes the waterworks. So it's not easy to deal with it, especially when you feel like you have no one. But I did say I have two great friends, and then on top of that, two kids who need me. So those are I guess that's my support or reason to keep pushing forward. And I do have a tendency of isolating myself when I am going through these things. If I have something running through my mind, I'll shoot a text to my therapist or my friend, or both, just to get it off my chest. I've even done, like, what do you call it? Audio? What do you call it? It's journaling, but instead of writing, you're speaking. I don't know what you call it. Audio, journal, video. I don't know. Anyway, so I've done that, and if you were to hear it, you would hear the frustration, the pain in my voice, and you could tell that I'm crying as I'm speaking, because it's like, it's just painful to feel like you don't have anyone. Whether you do or not, it's just a painful experience to feel like you don't have anyone. And it's just been, it feels like a bunch of rocks just constantly falling on me. I feel like I've been buried under a bunch of rocks, because it's just, life has just really pounced on me over the last year. More recently, well, even in the last year, it's been financially, it's been emotionally, mentally. I'm just not at 100% the way I would like to be. Like I said, some days I feel like I'm good. I'm over it. I've gotten through the storm. Brighter days ahead, and then all of a sudden, no, not so much. So, what do you call it? So I don't know if this was today. Could have been yesterday. Like I said, I've been reflecting a lot. And I've mentioned just not too long ago, and probably in prior videos, about neglect and abandonment and all of that. So I've been doing a lot of reflecting, and I realized that when it comes to people, things don't seem to work out so well for me. It seems at first everything is great. It could even last some years. Everything is good, or seemingly good. And then all of a sudden it just ends. It doesn't work out. There's a misunderstanding. There's an argument. There's some nonsense that goes on. And all of a sudden this person is no longer in my life. Whether it be he or she walk away from me, or I walk away from him or her. So I felt like I had a good circle of people in my life, and now it's kind of shrunk to these two friends that I mentioned, and my two kids. So you would think that would be enough, but it is in a sense, but it just sucks, because the people you think that is there for you, who cares about you, and maybe they do, but they have a weird way of showing it, or maybe they just don't show it, and you just feel like, maybe you don't care as much as I think you do. So anyway, so I was thinking about this picture that I saw years ago. I don't remember the last time I saw this picture, and it was a picture of both my parents and my 3 older siblings. I mentioned that my family's from Haiti. This took place in Haiti, so this was before I was born. I was, out of my immediate family, I'm the only one born in the United States. Everybody else born and pretty much raised in Haiti. So they took a family portrait there, and obviously I'm not there. I wasn't born yet. So I want to say this was maybe, it could be 2 to 3 years before I was even a thought. So I remember, again, I haven't seen this picture in so long. I don't even know why it came to mind, but because I've been thinking about all the people in and out my life, and just dropping the ball on showing me that they care, I don't know, I guess it triggered that memory. It's amazing how the mind works. And it was like, when I thought about it, I started to tear up, because it's like, wow, even then I wasn't, granted I wasn't born, but it was like I wasn't there. So basically what I'm saying is, so they took this picture before I was even a thought, fine. But after I was born, everybody was living in the United States, and there was never a family portrait again after that. So it made me feel some type of way, because it's like, that kind of, let me just say this, I feel that it kind of set the stage for the rest of my life up until this point, because when you see this picture, you see a family, but I'm not in it. Now, I did, try to get my emotions out the way and think logically. As I mentioned, that picture was taken in Haiti. They were doing well financially in Haiti. So, I guess they felt, oh, let's take a family picture, whatever, no big deal. Coming to the US, they were struggling. We were living with family members, and there was no money for no family photo, to put it simply. So I understand. I totally understand. But it's just, the thought of it is like, you know what? There was a family portrait of my family, and I wasn't even there. And there was no future family portraits thereafter. And it's just weird to me. So I try to think of every scenario, every probability, like, okay, since I was a teenager, I felt like the black sheep in my family. I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I was different. I don't know if it's because of the age gap between me and my siblings. I am the youngest. Between me and my sister, who's the second youngest, there's a 7-year gap. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I don't know if it's because I'm the only one born in the US. Everybody else was born in Haiti. So they had a different, I guess, standard maybe over there compared to the US. I don't know. Like, there was another point I wanted to make on that, but now I can't remember what it is. But it's like, what is it about me that people feel they can take me for granted? They can just do whatever and, think it's okay. That's pretty much what I'm getting at. And one thing that you guys need to know is, well, I guess, spoiler alert, because I didn't talk about this yet, but my father did pass. He passed in 2009. So obviously he was in my life the entire time. I just didn't get a chance to get to know him when I was an adult. So I knew, I had an idea of who he was when I was younger, into adolescence and young adult. But he passed when I was 24, so I didn't really get a chance to get to know him. Like, we had talks, but I still didn't really know who he was. So from what I gathered, 80 to 85% of my personality comes from him. I mentioned in a previous video, dominating, rule with an iron fist, that Napoleon complex, controlling, want things just so, do as I say. I get a lot of that from him. And granted, it plays a role in my behavior towards other people, but those aren't my big issues. I've actually calmed a lot of that down over the years. Still working on it. It's hard. So what I'm saying is, it's just interesting to me the way he and I interacted with each other up until he passed. I would have bet and guessed that a lot of my issues would have come from him. You know, the whole controlling, blah, 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 all that stuff. But a lot of my issues actually come from everybody else. And when I say issues, I'm referring to neglect, abandonment, feeling that I don't belong. I can't say that I ever felt neglected by my father. Now, to be honest, he and I did go a good period of time not talking to each other. And that was mainly because we are both alphas. He wanted me to do what he says without question. I wasn't having that. So we butt heads, it got to a point where we only spoke when we were arguing. Like literally just walk past each other in the house. I guess you could say that's a form of neglect, but I don't know. I guess it didn't. I guess it doesn't really affect me the way the emotional neglect affects me from others. So I already talked about my sister and how she up and left the way she did. That by itself, like, tore me a new one. That experience by itself ripped me in half. And I went years being angry just from that one experience. And not to mention me messing up my relationship with my very first boyfriend. That didn't help. And that actually happened first. I actually messed up that relationship. And then not too long after, not even a year later, my sister up and left. So it's like one hit after the other. So obviously the first experience I did to myself. Fine. I take accountability for that. But her up and leaving the way she did, I had no control over that. I couldn't stop it. I didn't even know anything was wrong. And now that I say that, that experience does reflect a lot to me, who I am today. It's just crazy to me how, so to put it simply, within the last year, I've met a couple of guys to talk to, date, whatever. And to me, things is cool. We're getting to know each other. We're talking, we make plans to hang out, whatever the case may be. And then all of a sudden, poof, gone. Now, if you remember with my sister doing that, there was hostility from her towards me before she left. So on the outside looking in, you would say that, oh, that was a clue that something was wrong, which, yeah, clearly something is wrong there. Like, you went from being this sweet, soft female to all of a sudden you cursing me out just for literally spilling milk. So obviously something's wrong, but I was 16, 17. I didn't know. I didn't pick up on that. I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know it was to the extent of her leaving and never to be heard from again, or never to be heard from until years later. So anyway, so now with these guys, it would be, I don't see anything wrong. There's nothing that was said. There was nothing that was done prior to the disappearance, but there is a disappearance. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, what happened? Why did such and such person leave? And then here's what I love to do. What did I do? What did I say? And I remember saying the same thing or thinking the same thing with my sister. Why did she leave me? What did I do? What could I have done differently? And this is why it's good to speak about your struggles, because just now I'm realizing that from that one experience, I don't know how many years ago, when I was 17, it's still playing out now, 20 plus years later. Like, isn't that crazy? My God. Whew. Anyway, so like I said, after she left, I was just not happy, because in my mind, I just carried the whole, if my own sister, my own flesh and blood can abandon me, I can't put it past anybody. And it's true. I can't put it past anybody. Like, look what I just explained to you over the last year. I mean, y'all might look at me crazy, like, well, what's wrong with you that these guys keep leaving you? And you know what? Maybe there is, and I'm just not seeing it. But the simple fact is, I'm not getting no feedback either. Well, let me stop lying. Their excuse or their reasoning would be, oh, they're going through something, and I guess, I don't know, they just decide they don't want to talk to me anymore. Whatever. Well, maybe that's just an excuse. Maybe that's the game. Like, that's the way to ghost somebody now. Oh, I'm going through something, whatever, I don't know. Just disappear. And now I'm not playing victim, because I'm not a victim. That's for damn sure. Let's get that straight. I have done that myself, where I ghost someone, but I didn't know that's what I was doing. Like, it was just that the person, because I think I can only remember one time that I actually done it. If I'd done it before or after that, I don't have any recollection of it. But I do remember there was a guy that I met. I met him online, if I remember correctly. And, you know, we were talking on the app, we exchanged numbers, we were talking on the text, and then we met at, I want to say Fridays for dinner. So we met in person that first time, and, you know, we were talking, we was vibing, whatever. He seemed like a cool guy. And then after that one meet, I don't know how long after, but after that one meet, he asked me if I would want to come over for drinks. That rubbed me the wrong way, because it's like, dude, I just met you one time. I don't know you like that. I'm not coming to your house. And I did tell him, I'm not comfortable coming to your house. I would prefer to continue meeting in public places. And if I remember correctly, he did say, I understand, or okay, or something to that effect. And I was so turned off, I just stopped talking to him altogether. Like, I just didn't engage anymore. So he said okay, or whatever his response was, and then I just stopped talking. And I do remember him reaching out some days, whatever, later, saying, is everything okay? And I didn't respond. So I've done it. So I'm not, you know, karma, right? But like I said, I only remember doing it to one person. If I've done it before, after that, then what are you gonna do? But it's just interesting how this whole ghosting thing is too common nowadays. And whoever said it first about the older you get, the harder it is to make friends, the harder it is to date. Yo, you was not lying. Especially with these people ghosting left and right. So for me, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but for me, that ties into the whole neglect thing. Even though I don't know these dudes like that, we haven't been talking that long. When I meet someone that I vibe with, that I can see a friendship with, or maybe even a potential relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship. It could be a friendship. And then you just up and leave. You setting me way back. And no, I shouldn't allow anyone to have that kind of control over me. And that's I guess you could say what I'm working on. I'm trying to work on not caring about what people do, what people say. You know, just not care. If you're here, great. We can both make an effort to see each other, talk to each other, all that good stuff. If you're not here, oh well. I was good before you, I'm gonna be good after you. And I remember having that type of mentality even after the experience with my sister. I remember having that mentality. What changed? I'm gonna tell you what changed on the next video. Peace out.